All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus for our segment called In Case You Missed It. I'm Joy Limnacker and here with Brooks Baptiste.
Hey, good morning to you, Joy.
Good
So, we've got a
morning.
couple of stories that we're watching right now, and one of which being something I think we all can relate to, trying to get ourselves out of a membership or a subscription service. We know how that struggle can be. Well, the Biden administration is doing something right now where it is hoping to make that a bit easier for all of you who have had to run into that issue. So, this proposed package of rules is dubbed Time is Money. So, it's aiming to remove excessive paperwork and call hold times for customers canceling subscriptions. Also, we know how important that is when you're trying to submit a health claim and also trying to get in touch with human customer service representatives, because how many times have you said, speak to a representative?
Oh, gosh.
Speak to a representative. And, you're just
Oh.
yelling at the phone and the phone does not care. Well, it's part of the White House's crackdown on so-called junk fees through recently other Biden administration, or I should say, though recently other Biden administration proposals have been temporarily blocked by federal courts. So, Joy, we'll have to wait and see what happens here, but come on now. We've all had to deal with this, and
Oh,
it's
I
been
know.
a struggle.
I know. And then it's just like, I already planned that, when you're on hold for that sort of thing, I already planned like, okay, this is when I'm going to do my laundry. I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? That's when I'm going to make that call when I'm doing something else.
Because you know you're going to have a lot of time that you're stuck on
Yes.
hold. That's how it goes.
Exactly.
Also, do you remember the days of taking the SAT and the ACT?
Oh, yes, I do. I took the SAT, not the ACT.
See, I did both, and I
You did
always thought the
both? Okay.
ACT was slightly easier, but
Oh.
all right, well, now they're making some changes, so here's kind of a
Okay.
heads up / reminder for you if you do have a child that is getting ready to try and get in college and whatnot. So the college admissions test is evolving with the goal to give students more flexibility when it comes to test taking. So those changes include making the test a bit shorter, because if you've been in there, you know how long those
Very
tests can
long.
be. And also, they want to make the science section optional. Experts say students will be encouraged to take the science section, especially if they're working toward a scholarship.
The test actually, as far as the concepts that are going to be tested on, it has not changed significantly at all. What has changed is, what sounds wonderful, which is that science is going to be optional. Honestly, I'm not changing my prep very much.
Right, so those changes will not apply to this year's college hopefuls,
Okay.
but those changes will roll out in spring of 2025. I don't know, I always go back and forth about this because I'm all for, test taking and whatnot, although I couldn't stand it when I had
I
to do
know,
it, but
same.
we all have to go through it, right?
Right.
I don't know, if I don't need the science score and that's going to impact my overall score, why would I need to take it if I don't?
Yeah,
If I have the
that's a good
option.
that is a good question. I mean, I feel like if you don't have to take most people will not take it. And is that really a good thing? Do we want
Well-
kids to kind of be in a position where they're forced to learn a little bit about science? I
Well,
mean,
I don't know, Joy, because I'm still trying to put to use some of that science that I learned in college that I didn't sign up for, but it was part of the gen ed courses, and I still have not found in this profession a day
Right,
where I've had to
right.
use that. So I don't know. I get it because we had this conversation in the studio as well earlier this morning, and first look meteorologist Ella Dorsey brought up the point. She was like, "Well, I needed science, and I love science, but I don't need writing necessarily." And then I said, "Well, actually, we all have to know how to read to comprehend. We all have to know how to write, even if it's just to write an email to your boss or to a colleague. We kind of have to be able to do that." So I can see it both ways.
but I also just think as a kid, you don't know what you're going to be when you grow up.
That's
And
right.
so
Now,
it's-
that's a great point.
and sometimes and that's your opportunity to kind of learn even what you like and what
Yeah.
you're good at. When I was younger, I thought I was going to be a doctor until in college I flunked chemistry and biology. I mean, I didn't flunk, but it was almost. I mean,
But-
they didn't kick me out.
But look, you became a lawyer and a legal
There you
expert.
go.
So I'm just saying you still did good things, my friend.
Well, thank you so much. Not bad. We ended up here, so I get to work with Brooks Baptiste. So I'm doing
Maybe
okay.
that's something, all right?
All right. Well, thank you
Thanks,
so
Joy.
much, Brooke. So appreciate it. All right. Speaking of confusion, there is a lot of confusion about bike lanes right now. And yeah, I mean, people are not happy about this situation. So, this, I apologize. I'm trying to change a graphic and I'm multitasking. I'm going to find you that graphic. But most importantly, the story here is that there's a lot of confusion about these new bike lanes. Both drivers, cyclists concerned that a lack of signs is going to lead to accidents. State Representative Devon Seabout is now accused of running into a cyclist near Memorial Drive and Boulevard in southeast Atlanta. Atlanta News First, Yasmina Alston is near the area to explain what is going on.
The confusion starts at the intersection behind me of Memorial Drive and Boulevard, where some drivers are making that right turn onto Boulevard and ending up in the bike lanes. You've probably noticed the curb stops creating another lane on Memorial Drive. That lane is meant for cyclists, though that message hasn't quite gotten across to everyone. Cyclist Ian Wells rides his bike on this road often. He says he is thankful for the addition of the designated bike lanes, but thinks signs alerting drivers as they turn from Boulevard would be helpful.
Signs on Memorial and Boulevard, you're coming up to a bike corridor like they do it. The Beltline has a lot of signage on it.
Concerned drivers and residents have shared pictures showing cars driving in the bike lanes after accidentally making that turn into them. This picture shows several cars in the wrong lane, face to face with a cyclist also in the lane.
So the bike lane is still under construction, and it is for people biking and scooting, any kind of small wheels, not for cars, not for trucks.
Rebecca Cerna is the executive director for Propel ATL, a group that advocated for the lanes because it is a high crash corridor. She says she understands the frustrations, but reminds people the project is still not done.
Because it's still under construction, it doesn't have the posts at the ends that will prevent drivers from driving into it mistakenly, and it doesn't yet have the green paint and the bike lane symbols that will clearly tell everyone what the space is meant for.
This is the same area where Georgia State Representative Devon Seabout turned into the bike lane and is accused of hitting a cyclist on Thursday night. Police say he was driving under the influence at the time. In a social media post over the weekend, the representative pointed out there was no proper signage for the bike lane.
We'd like to see the construction time be compressed as much as possible because there is the potential for confusion.
And the Georgia Department of Transportation said they urge cyclists to avoid using those lanes until the project is complete. They're also reminding drivers to pay attention. They expect this project to be completed by the end of October. In southeast Atlanta, Yasmina Alston, Atlanta News First.
And thanks so much to Yasmina for that report. We'll keep following the latest there. Okay, let's talk about some summer meal funding. So Georgia parents and some state leaders are asking the governor to approve federal funding for summer meals now. Georgia is one of 13 states that opted out this year, but there is still a chance for next summer. Atlanta News First reporter Abby Kasoris explains.
Okay, I need you to be quiet for me, please.
Tasha Miller is a parent to 3 kids. Her school-age daughter is one of 1.2 million Georgia students to receive free school breakfast and lunch. Without those meals during the summertime, she says she's been asking for help.
We're utilizing a food pantry right now, and we are able to go once a week. I know a lot of food pantries don't have that option.
Sunbucks is a federal program offering students who already qualify for free or reduced lunch during the school year $120 per summer. Miller says it means she could afford to buy more meat and produce for her family. She signed a petition with more than 3,000 other parents, calling on governors in holdout states to approve the funding. Democrat leaders writing to Georgia Governor Brian Kemp to urge him to do the same.
These federal resources to help families feed their kids are available for the state of Georgia. And what I'd urge is that the governor accept these federal resources to help families across Georgia afford food in the summertime.
In July, Kemp's office sent us this statement defending his skepticism of the program, citing concerns over the lack of nutritional requirements and a lack of fiscal sustainability.
And all we're asking is that you put our kids and our families first.
Abby Kasoris, Atlanta News First.
Thanks so much to Abby for that report. You can get the latest on all of our top stories on AtlantaNewsFirst.com and also by downloading our free mobile news app. That way you can get updates and breaking news as well as first alert weather sent right to your phone. Thanks for being with us and have a great day. How you doing?